Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I am back with another Octagon Treat Box die fronts video. Hey everybody, so I am showing you, these are the two fronts that I made a while ago in a video, and I'm going to use them on a project today. Or two projects, I guess. So I'm using the Octagon Treat Box dies, obviously, because that's what I used. The Christmas Add On dies too, to go with those, along with the card mat dies, the word bubble dies, and I'm messing around here, the Scallop Square dies. I'm also using the Gingerbread Wishes. Now ignore the gingerbread calories and the gingerbread baking co. I didn't use those, and I didn't use winter wishes, but I did use winter signs. And I actually used Doodlebugs, Milk and Cookies, Christmas Town, and Night Before Christmas 6-inch pads. So I've got a piece of Paper Tray Ink Pure Poppy cardstock, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5, and then again at 2 3/4 inches, because I'm going to make a Z-fold card. And then this one was 5 inches by 10 inches, scored at 5 inches, and then again at 2.5, because I'm making, like I said, 2 Z-fold cards or Z-fold cards, depending where you live. There we go, and I'm using my Teflon bone folder, my Martha Stewart scoreboard that you saw, and I'm just going to fold those on the lines, reinforce those folds, and there we go. So these are just some fun folds, fun Christmas card folds today. There we are, making sure it's down well. I love Paper Tray Ink cardstock as for card bases. It's literally my favorite. Usually like the white is my favorite, but I do use some other colors too. And gorgeous. So I went ahead and I cut the Milk and Cookies pad out with our card mat dies. And then I'm going to cut that in half using my Fiskars trimmer there. And I'm just trying to figure out what half is, because, you know, I'm challenged that way in American mathematics. There we go. We use centimeters here, so sometimes I have to really think about it. And then I went ahead and cut the largest scalloped square die out of, I believe it was Christmas Town, that super cute little Frosty paper. And I'm just going to cut that exactly in half. That's the largest scallop square die. There we go. Now I'm going to be applying all of these to my card bases. So I'm actually using I don't even know what this is called. It's like a glue tape runner. I just have it in my stash, and I thought I got to use this sucker up. So I use it here and there in this video. So I'm lining up this first little Frosty piece of paper. There we go. And then I'm going to line up the next piece on the inside of that little Z fold there. But I'm going to leave enough space for the fold, just so you know you get a nice clean fold when it lies flat. So you see there's like a tiny little gap there just for the fold. There we go. So that's lined up. Perfect. And then I went ahead and I cut using the same scalloped square die. And I believe that paper is from the, I believe that's the Night Before Christmas pad. And I'm just going to stick that down on the inside of the card. And I want to line that up with my scalloped shape that I've already lined down. Do you see that? So it lines up perfectly. And I'm just going to flatten that out with my Teflon bone folder there. There we go. And now I'm going to be adding my little Frosty to the front of this little Z fold. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of art glitter glue just to a few little spots. And of course I wasn't thinking, because this kind of overhangs, some of it overhangs. But I'm going to add paper to the inside of this Frosty just to make sure it doesn't stick. But, you know, just remember that when you're doing it. I completely forgot, because that's, you know, that's the way I roll. What can I say? Then I went ahead and I cut that octagon shape treat box die, the front layer again, and I'm going to stick that down on the back of this Frosty. But this is my mistake, so pay attention, people. I've made these cards a million times. I don't know what I was thinking, but I line it up and then I stick it down, and then what do I realize? It's not going to open. So I have to trim off the back of that Frosty. There we go. So now my Frosty has a nice solid back, which is what I wanted. And I'm just going to add, this is the part where I screw up. Hold on. There we are. And then it's like, oh, it can't open. That was a big mistake. There we go. So now I'm just going to quickly cut this little piece in half. And I'm just measuring it because remember I have that Frosty kind of on there cattywampus, so sort of at an angle. So I'm just going to quickly trim off this piece. This is another paper tray ink white cardstock piece, and I'm just going to line that up. And now that will have a nice solid foundation. There we go. Perfect. And now I've got another piece. I just cut the little hat again, and I'm just going to glue the little brim and double up on the brim on the inside there, just so it's nice and solid too. There we go. Like I said, art glitter glue, slip it in there. Perfect. There we go. So this is so cute. So I did go ahead and I cut another one of those Octagon Treat fronts out of that paper tray ink white cardstock. And I'm going to stick that down using that same glue tape runner again. And I'm going to stick it down onto this piece of paper. It's from Sugar Plums, the 12-inch paper line. And I'm just going to stick it down there, and I'm sort of going to eyeball a border. I'm just going to trim it with my Fiskars trimmer with like about 1/8 of an inch, or a little over 1/8 of an inch border, you know, nothing crazy. And that way it'll pop a little bit from the background. You'll see when I put it in place. There we go. So now I'm going to add that to the inside of my card. And do you see, I want the white hidden by Frosty, but I want the pink to show, just to sort of separate it from the background. There we are. And now I'm going to put my ATG tape down on the back of this, and I will line this up onto the Frosty first. There we go. And I do fuss fart around with this a little bit. I wasn't thinking, you know, like normal. Like normal, I wasn't thinking. So I'm just going to stick that down with some, I believe that's scrapbook.com, that mint tape. I use it for my die cutting and stuff. There we go. And now I'm just gotta try and get this in place. There we are. Perfect. Now it's in place. And if you close, do you see it? It hides the whole thing. So now I'm going to do some stamping for this card front, basically. I'm using Winter Signs, Ink on 3's Blackout ink, along with Ranger's Fine Detail White Embossing Powder. I'm stamping onto paper tray ink black cardstock using a powder tool too, you notice. And then I'm using my reheat tool to melt the powder. There we go. And I pulled out a lot of other stamps. That's what you saw at the beginning, because I could have used any of those, but I decided to go with these ones. So I didn't cut it out of the video. I just left it in. That's kind of my process, you know. So I just went ahead and trimmed out these little sentiments with my Fiskars trimmer. And I'm just using one of those nail filing sponges just to, you know, make sure that my edges are smooth. I don't have any kind of linty edges. And then I'm going to use my scissors just to cut them off there. So easy peasy stuff. And then I'm going to stick these down onto my card base there. And I just think it turned out super cute. I'm adding Merry Christmas to the inside. There we are with my EK Success reverse tweezers. And then on the outside, I'm going to quickly add, Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Because, you know, of course, that's what I'm going to put on there. It's kind of fun, right? So I'll stick that all down with my art glitter glue again, like I said. And this was easy. So I am loving, like I've said this a million times, I'm a broken record. I am loving these Octagon Treat Box and then the Octagon Christmas Add On dies. This is the Add On dies 2 set that I'm using today, or that I used in the past when I made these little face fronts. You can go back in my videos and watch the whole thing where I make all these different snowmen and everything, all the different faces that I came up with. The design team has made other things too that you can go check out to be inspired. You kind of want these dies. I don't know. If you don't have them yet, you got to get these dies. Super cute. And like I said, a little birdie told me that maybe they might be coming out with some more add-ons. Wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, there we are. Now I'm using my Secure White Jelly Roll pen in a number 10, and I'm just going to add some highlights to my little Frosty. You see, I had chalked his little cheeks with EK chalk. That was in that video where I created all these people, all these little face fronts or whatever you want to call them. And I added little freckles to the snowman, and now I'm adding some highlights to his little carrot nose and all that stuff. The orange and the greens are actually from Doodlebug's cardstock line, which is kind of fun. I like their textured cardstock. It cuts like butter with the dies. It's really nice. So like I said, adding my little highlights, just trying to make it look a little bit more special, right? And there we go. So this is a super easy card to make, I think. and, you know, fun. It's a nice little fun fold. There we go. So how cute is that? Adorbs. So now I'm going on to my next one. This one is 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5, and then again at 2.75. And I'm going to stick down, this paper is from the Milk and Cookies 6-inch pad from Doodlebug. I'm going to stick that down on the inside. There we go, just trying to get it straight. And then the other piece is also from that Milk and Cookies 6-inch pad. Excuse me, guys. And I cut it in half, and I'm going to be applying it to my card base using that glue tape runner again, like I've been using off and on with my ATG tape. I kind of grab one or the other. And I'm just going to line that up on the flap with the inside. So you want everything all lined up nice and straight. You know, these are my crazy little things that come out, you know. What can I say? And that's a little adhesive remover for any adhesive that kind of stuck out past the die cut. Now I'm going to add the second half of the die cut on the inside. You don't have to do this, but I kind of think it finishes it a bit. And I'm going to stick that down, and I want to line it up with the front, but I want to leave a little gap for the fold. There we are, and I'll add that in place. So cute stuff, eh? So now I'm going to be adding my little Gingy, my little gingerbread man this time. And I'm going to stick him to the front. So I went ahead and folded that, just eyeballed it and folded it in half, and then I'll cut it in half. This paper tray white cardstock, that's for building up the back of it so it's not, you know, so it doesn't flap around. It has a nice solid base, and I'm going to stick that little guy, I'll stick the background on first. There we go, making sure it's all lined up nicely. And then I will line that up on the front of my card. There we are, just making sure it fits right in there perfectly. There, how cute is that? I love these cards. They're super fun to make. And like I said, easy peasy stuff. So now I am adding the inside. And this is how easy it's supposed to be, people. When you don't put a border on, this is how easy it is. You lay it on the back and you just close it and you pick it up. Perfect. Oh, my voice is rough today. So I did not show you, but I went ahead and I stamped my sentiments all from the Gingerbread Wishes stamp set. And I'm cutting them out using that word bubble die on the left. And then the one on the right is going to be the circle from the Mini Tags Dies 2. And I'm just lining up my, my relief cut, my scrap piece, so I can line up my die in the center and make sure that sentiment is straight in there. It's just because it's a solid die and you can't see through it. And then there's my inside sentiment that I'm just going to trim up and stick inside. There we are. So I'm just going to add that to my card base using that little glue tape runner again, sticking it on the inside. Christmas wishes and gingerbread kisses. And then I'm going to be adding my little sentiments there. This one is have a tasty, what is that again? Sorry guys, have a tasty holiday. I had to look at it. It's too small for me to read that. There we go. So I did not show you the heat embossing, but I just did the exact same thing that I showed you earlier. There we go. All my die cutting was done with my Gemini machine like normal. There we are. And this one says, keep calm and eat cookies. You know, which is true at Christmas, right? You want to stay calm and eat cookies. So I'm just building up the one side with some scrap paper. And then I will pop this all up with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. There we go. And then you've got like a cute little gingerbread man, I think. I made one with the girl gingerbread, you know, earlier, and that turned out super cute too. There we go. So I'm going to pop that up. Fun stuff. And then that's basically the card. I will be adding some shape sprinkles though, of course. So I'm just going to use my EK Success reverse tweezers and grab these little enamel shape sprinkles. These ones are called Visions of Sugar Plums, and I'm just going to add a few to the front of my card. I've got little gingerbread men and a couple little gumdrops, which are kind of cute. There we are. I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to put in there. I'll use a little gingerbread man there and a gumdrop up in the sentiment, because why not, right? I tend to get these things and I hoard them and I don't use them, so I'm trying to use them. There we are. How cute is that? Super cute stuff. There we go. And now that's my little Frosty card. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jada Blossom store, the Jada Blossom blog, get inspired and all that. And maybe get your hands on these adorable dies. And we will see you soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.